Hi there, here's just a little quick video on a way to start bringing your family history into your witchcraft tradition. When I was at the Viridian Genii conference this spring, I got to see my favorite author, Daniel Schulke, talking about plant transmission of plant knowledge, the traditions of herbalism and just plant use throughout time. And he specifically talked about your family card file of recipes, and that you could find some, one way or another, you could find something about plant use in them, even if it's just, in my opinion, even if it's just about herbs that you might use when cooking, as simple as garlic, onions. These are all things that when you're sick they end up in the soup and they're good for you. So I'm going to show you how I'm taking my family card file and making it into a tradition, and expanding it from what it is. So this is my family card file. It's this cookbook here. Look, it even has pictures of different herbs on the front. So I guess my mom was a little bit presentient there. So, you know, it starts out, here's some of our oldest recipe cards. I remember these from when I was a little girl that my mom used. But when she ran out of them, she started using just regular cards. And I want you to see that this can be just the most normal of family recipes. This one uses sage, and it's, you know, 1 tablespoon sage leaves crushed inside this bread sage stuffing. And then here is stuffed potatoes that use chives in them. So here we have some plant transmission of how you would use some of these plants in herbs in your family cooking, if you're a kitchen witch or however. But let's not neglect just the family cooking. If something has, you know, a, you know, modern food, quote unquote, in it, like hot dogs, don't neglect that. That's part of your family history, and include that. If you don't have like a recipe card file like this in your family, try to remember what your mom made. I want to show you one that just kind of is a clue to how you might start. I remember a funny episode of Friends where they were trying to figure out, I think it was Phoebe's family recipe for cookies, and eventually at the very end they realized it was Toll House cookies. So, you know, the Toll House cookies recipe, this one, well used and loved, it's got cocoa stains on it, you know, is part of the family traditions. But also we've got some like ginger snaps that a family friend gave my mom the recipe of. You know, and again, here we have ginger, which is an important, you know, herb and spice here. And so we have different recipes that are family recipes here. And, you know, they come into the family in different ways. Here we have a recipe I wrote down when I was just a kid on a peach milkshake that was so yummy. And this is my old handwriting. I must have been, you know, 13, 14 years old. And we have, you know, here's another recipe that my mom cut out of the newspaper. It's local in the sense of, oh, low cal, not local. Low calorie, okay. And then I'm just going to expand this. I found my brother had a recipe for curry and rice soup. His handwriting was so terrible, and he had written it on a piece of typing paper, so I transferred it into here. But my brother made this recipe up, so I put it in here. And then I went ahead and put my recipe cards in here. This is a family thing. It's going to, you know, go all the way back to having my mother's recipes, and then it's going to have my recipes. I'm going to slip some of my grandma's recipes in here too. But, you know, it's got my recipes are all stuck in here. And this is part of how you start establishing a family tradition for, in this case, kitchen witchcraft, kitchen alchemy. So I'd love to see if you guys have any family card files. If you don't, just try to remember what your family made. You know, it's okay to start out with a Toll House cookie recipe or something like that from a magazine that you know your mother or father or grandmother made a lot. So I want you to like take a moment and look through what you have in your family. And when you find something that has some herbs in it, like, you know, the sage stuffing that was in there, or the stuffed potatoes with chives. Take a few minutes to figure out, maybe go and look in a magical herbal, or anything like that, and see what those herbs do magically, and see if that matches up at all with how you feel about the recipe that you had growing up or that you've cooked for yourself. And you can add that into the lore, for your family lore, about what that recipe means to you as it's come handed down. So I'd love to hear how you all get started developing your family traditions, your family recipes. Even if you're just starting with your own and maybe your family didn't cook at all, that's fine. Just start with your own, and this is something you could pass on to your children or friends' children, or just have something when that's yours, that's your tradition of kitchen witchery, since we're all doing the potions together. So keep in touch. Let me know. I'd love to see pictures if you have any family card files like this. Just let me see, okay? And comment below. Spirits Craft out.